Hi everybody, it's Claudia from Create with Claudia. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm doing something a little different, so stay tuned while I tell you the 10 things I've learned while being a YouTube creator. So I've been doing YouTube videos for about 9 years or so. I started, didn't do a lot of them, and then slowly picked up pace. There was a time in between where I didn't do very many at all. But basically I do quilt tutorials, quilt patterns, quilt blocks, a lot of craft tutorials, that sort of thing. So this is completely different than what I normally do. But I thought after 9 years I could tell people just a little bit about what I've learned doing it. Some are a little funny, some are actually really helpful, I hope. So bear with me while I go through these 10 things that I've learned while being a YouTube creator. Number 1, definitely know your space. I tape in the basement of my house. It's a small room, and I have a room where I sew sort of next door. It's 2 small rooms in the basement. Luckily they are finished, but I've had to spruce them up a lot. But it's a small space, a low ceiling, not really good lighting, so I had to get some lighting for that. The worst part of being in my basement is that the pipes run right overhead. So anytime anybody flushes the toilet, uses water, takes a shower, you can hear it in my videos. So I actually have gotten to the point where I have to text my family when I'm getting ready to tape and say, hey, you know, don't use the water for the next half hour or whatever. And people are really good, and I tell them, my family, when I'm taking breaks so they can all do whatever they need to do. But definitely know your space. It can be pretty challenging. The other thing is you can hear my air conditioner, my water heater, so all of that gets turned off when I'm getting ready to shoot a video. Number 2, planning helps. I don't have a script. I've never used a script. I know some people definitely use a script, and you know, it's whatever works for you, honestly. But because of the types of videos I do, I definitely have to plan them out. I can't just pull up some fabric and make a quick quilt pattern without some planning. I just sort of do a little outline on a piece of paper. Here, let me show you what I have here, just like that. No big deal. It just sort of helps me, and I put it off camera so I can glance at it every once in a while and say, oh yeah, that's what I need to do next. So for me, especially for the types of video I do, planning helps. Number 3, and this one is important because especially for people that do tutorials and step-by-step type of things, check your equipment from time to time. Many times I have come and I've noticed, hey, my GoPro just snapped off, or something happens with my internet or the Wi-Fi and something turns off. It is such a pain to go back and fix that. Again, all depends on the types of videos you do, but from time to time, check your equipment. I know I have an older video, which is actually, I think, one of my top 10 highest viewed videos, and the sound is horrible on it, and I can hear it okay if I turn up my computer all the way to the top. There's some people that just can't hear it, and I've had that comment so many times on that video. So I highly recommend testing your equipment out before you get started, and then just keeping an eye on it. The way my setup is, it helps me so I can see if my video turns off now, because I was burned a couple of times with that. Number 4 is sort of a 2-for-1. Be consistent, be patient. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 9 years. There were a long period in there where I didn't do any at all, a couple of years, and then I really started picking up the pace. And I have, as of taping this video, I just hit 34,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable for me. I never thought I'd get that many subscribers. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. But I think part of it is that I try to put out videos every week, sometimes more, sometimes less. It's not always easy to get a video out. You'd be surprised. Sometimes life gets in the way sometimes, so you just can't do that video for that week. I do try to plan ahead a little bit and tape some ahead of time, so I have some material to put out there. The other part of number 4 is to be patient, and that is very hard for me to do personally, but I do find that some of my videos do much better than others. I'm sure most YouTubers find that as well. Ones that I think are going to do really well fall flat. Other ones that I think, okay, well, I am going to just put this out really quickly, do really well. So it's always a surprise. So it keeps you on your toes, and then you try to sort of recreate what you did with the ones that did well. But that's not always easy, so you definitely have to have patience, because it's easy to give up and just say, oh, forget it, I'm not going to do this anymore. Number 5, try new things. I am always learning. I am always trying new things. Most of them, of course, are filmed down here, but you know what? Shake it up every once in a while. Try to film outside or add some pictures to your videos. Again, depending, all this, keep in mind, is all depending on the types of videos you do. I know some people, it's harder to change up than others. But definitely try to change things up. I'm always trying to learn new techniques. One of the things I really need to work on is my lighting. I always have an issue with that. I watch YouTube videos and I still have a problem. I don't know if it's my space, but I work on that. So I'm trying to learn new things that way. The other thing I really want to start doing is I want to start doing some live streams. I've only, actually I shouldn't say that, I've done that one time, but that was somebody else who organized it and sort of showed me the ropes on that. But that is something I'd really like to start doing, maybe a monthly program. I did start a monthly series called Working Our Scraps Off, where we do a monthly scrap fabric project. So just, I have learned over these 9 years to definitely shake things up a little bit and try something new. Another thing that I've learned to do is to practice, number 6. I don't practice a whole lot, and I did it a lot more when I wasn't so comfortable doing this, because when I first started out, I was very uncomfortable. And if you watch my videos, the sound isn't great. You don't see me. I didn't even want to go on camera. So for a lot of my first videos, I didn't go on camera at all. You just see the, from top down, you just see the project that I'm working on. It really helped me to, what I said earlier, to plan out your video a little bit. And I just sort of, in my mind, I sit for 5 minutes and just do a little practice run of it. The other thing I practice too is checking my camera angles, and I'll show you in a minute the equipment that I use to make sure it looks okay on camera. Sometimes you have to change the camera positioning a little bit, that sort of thing. But it really helps to practice, and it helps get that video, I find, a little bit smoother throughout the whole thing. Number 7, when I first started doing videos, I never answered comments. I didn't reply back or anything. And my daughter asked me quite a few years ago, she said, you don't answer, you should answer your comments. People enjoy that. And I guess I never really thought of it. I do my project. I never was behind the camera. I always like to just show the project, and maybe my hands or my sewing machine. It was not something I was comfortable with. And, she was right, and I really enjoyed it. So definitely interact with your subscribers and your viewers. I have met some really nice people online, and when I say meet, I meet them virtually, but it just is really nice. It's some wonderful comments, some wonderful subscribers and viewers, and it's just so much fun to go back and forth with people. And I do love comments, and now I really love answering them. Number 8, it is not as easy as you think it's going to be. Especially, again, this is one of those where it really depends on the type of videos you do. And because I do tutorials and patterns and all kinds of things like that, the setup's a little different, and you have to show all that on camera. So it's a lot of moving the camera around, especially because I'm also space challenged. I have to move the camera around, that kind of thing. So it's not as easy as you think it might be, although there are lots of people that, man, their first video goes viral, and that's awesome for them. I wish that was for me too, but I don't know that. That's not going to happen, I don't think, with my type of videos. But just have fun with it. I mean, I'm just having fun with it. I'm in my late 50s, and I never thought I would be doing YouTube videos. But it's definitely not as easy as you think. And that goes back to also planning your videos out and that kind of thing. Number 9, and probably one of the most important, I probably should have put this up at number 1 with my 10 things I've learned being a YouTube creator. You cannot, and you will never, ever please everybody. I will say 99% of my comments are really nice, and I really enjoy that. But sometimes you get the haters, and you just have to ignore them. I will delete some comments. Some I leave on, but you just can't please everybody. I have people say in the same video, "Oh, you're talking way too fast." Same video, they'll say, "You're talking way too slow." I have some people tell me I talk too little, and then some people tell me I talk too much. So I am what I am, and so but I have learned that, and you kind of learn you have to have a thick skin, because some comments maybe aren't so nice. But luckily, I don't get a lot of those. And finally, number 10, I have learned a lot about myself and maybe my mannerisms and that sort of thing. Number 1 in this category is I say a lot. I had no idea how much I say and trying to drives me crazy. And I've actually had comments, a couple comments from people saying, oh, you say a lot. And there's one video, and I don't know why, but I said it like every other word. And I actually went through and sort of turned the sound down. It was such a pain to do, but yeah, I turned the sound down every time I said and it was a lot. That took forever to edit that video. So I am working on that there. I just said it again. It's just something I am trying to work on that. I've also learned that I repeat myself. Sometimes I'll say a direction and not 1 minute later I'll say the same direction again. I don't do that as often as I used to, but yeah, I definitely do that. And I just said again. I've had a couple people say this. I talk fast, and I know I talk fast. It's something, even when I rewatch my videos, I think, wow, I really speak fast. I try very hard to slow down. I'm trying really hard right now. I also do that when I speak to quilt guilds and quilt shop type things. It's definitely something I need to work on. On the other hand, I have had some people say that I talk too slow, so I'm not sure where I fall, but I definitely, when I rewatch my videos, I notice that I do talk too fast. And if you've ever played poker or anything like that, I've heard this term called, some people have a tell. And you can always tell when my videos are ending because I really start talking much faster. I think I'm just anxious to get it done. So I speed it up. So if you ever watch some of my videos and I really start speeding up at the end, it's my tell that this video is going to end soon. So those are the 10 things that I've learned being a YouTube creator for about 9 years. I really am enjoying this ride. It's just fun to do, and I love interacting with people. So make sure to say hi in the comments. I did want to say a few more things, and I do get a lot of questions, and I love to answer questions. So here are 5 of my most popular ones, or not most popular, my most common ones, I should say. And some of these are from video comments. I do have a lot of people when I do Quilt Guild presentations, and I mentioned that I'm on YouTube. Some of people are subscribers already, which is awesome. They also ask me questions. So some of these I've already answered. And the number one was, where do I tape? I tape in my basement in a back room, and I'm showing you a couple pictures on the screen, and it's pretty messy, so I just have a very narrow, I'm not going to show you my floor or behind the camera because it does get messy, but yes, I tape in the basement of my house. So what kind of equipment do you use? I use a GoPro to film, and it's on a swivel. I have a couple of tripods. This one, it has an arm that reaches out, and I'll show some pictures as well, and I can adjust the camera so it shoots down from the top. I also use my cell phone. I use that sometimes to zoom in when I'm showing some sewing that I'm doing on a machine. It's very handy. I have a tripod for that as well. So like I said, I have 2 tripods. I also have a ring light, and then I have 2 other lights which I don't use very often. And then my table I love, I'll show you a picture of that too. It goes up and down, which is awesome because sometimes I like to stand when I do my types of videos, and sometimes when I'm sewing it's easier for me to sit down. And it's I love that table. That was a great investment. It's also a nice big table so I can show off, show things easily with my work. I get a lot of people ask me this. What is your favorite quilt block? And it is a no-brainer for me. It always has been. It always will be. It's a churn dash. And actually behind me is a quilt I designed. It's a pattern I sell on my Etsy shop. It's a churn dash. And there's some big ones and some small ones. I just think it's a beautiful block. It's a simple block to make. It's a very traditional block. And it just, I don't know why, it's just always been my favorite. A lot of people ask me what my favorite video is that I've done. It is a scrappy quilt block. It's a disappearing rail fence. That video just turned out really nicely. I have gotten loads of great feedback on that video. It's not my highest viewed video, but I love the way that block turned out, and it makes such pretty quilts. And I've had a lot of people in my Working Our Scraps Off Facebook group replicate it and do some beautiful quilts. So if you like to work with scrap quilts and things like that, head on over to Facebook. I have a Working Our Scraps Off Facebook group that's really active, and people show off their scrappy projects. But that one, I just got a lot of really great feedback, and a lot of people have used it. And it's always fun to see my patterns and my work from other people on their social media. So definitely, if you ever replicate one of my patterns, tag me, Create with Claudia, so I can see it, because I do check those out. And it's such an honor that people like my work enough to actually replicate it. Another question I get asked frequently is, can you do a video on X, Y, and Z. I do keep a list of suggestions, so if you have any suggestions for a video, throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I can't always get to them. I can't always do them. Maybe I don't have the skills, or it's just not on my list well, it is on my list, but it's not something I'm going to do right away. But I do keep those in mind, and I do appreciate them. So those are the 10 things I've learned being a YouTuber or YouTube creator for 9+ years. And it's funny, when I go back and look at some of my really old videos, I think, oh my goodness, what was I doing back then? The sound wasn't so great. So things have definitely improved since I started. And I'm just having fun doing it. And that's, I think, my biggest advice for anybody even thinking about starting to do YouTube videos is just have some fun with it. And don't say as much as I do, like I just did. I hope the tips have helped. Again, these tips aren't for everybody. There's a million different, probably a billion different YouTubers, and everybody does something a little different. But this is what's helped me and has worked for me and what I have learned. And I hope that those tips might help you too. So thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great day.